And now we start our official meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you join me, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I now call this meeting to order. And we will start right with the agenda items. Item number B, approval of regular session minutes for September 25th, 2019. Board, I know you've had these minutes in draft form, had an opportunity to review them and have any changes made that you would need. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. Item number C, we have some proclamations this morning. So, board members, if you would join me at the podium. The first one will be for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I understand that we have a lady that will accept this, Kristen Jackson. Are you here today? Okay, but you're not with that, that's right. You are here today. Who will be accepting that?
Stephanie Ross.
Stephanie? You are?
Stephanie Shue.
Stephanie Shue, pleased to meet you. Absolutely. Proclamation, Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Clermont County. Whereas violence against women and children continues to be more prevalent social problem, and whereas the problem of domestic violence is not confined to just any group or people, but crosses all economic, racial, and societal boundaries. Whereas the crime of domestic violence violates an individual's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity through the systematic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control and or abuse. And whereas the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, directly affecting women and their children and society as a whole. Whereas it is the survivors of domestic violence themselves who have been at the forefront of efforts to bring peace and equity to the home. Whereas it is fitting to set aside a special time to bring this issue to the attention of all Clermont County citizens so that they can become informed and involved in programs to eliminate this epidemic from our society. And also to let families know that they are not alone and there is help and support available for them. And whereas the Clermont County Family Violence Task Force, affiliated with the Little Fork Family Advocacy Center, is joining forces with the victim service programs, criminal justice officials, and concerned citizens throughout Clermont County and across the state of Ohio to observe Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Now therefore, we, the Board of Clermont County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2019 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Clermont County. And it's signed by David Painter, President, Edwin H. Humphrey, Vice President, and Claire B. Corcoran, Member. If you are here today and you are here to support Domestic Violence Month, would you please stand up? Thank you so much. On behalf of the Board of Clermont County Commissioners, I'd like to present you this official proclamation declaring this month Domestic Violence Month. Thank you so much.
We appreciate your support. Continue.
You have a few words you'd like to say?
We're just thank you for everyone for coming. It's really important to us
You can be
and
seated.
for
You
the
can be
community
seated.
members to know that the YWCA, in conjunction with Clermont County Sheriff's Office, Clermont County Prosecutor's Office, that this county will not stand for domestic violence and family violence in this county. We'll do the best we can to provide services to survivors and get folks prosecuted and get them in our jails and stop this problem. But it has to be community-wide, and the commissioners have been supportive of us for years, and we appreciate that immensely, so thank you for that. And thank you for the continued support, and we'll be back next year. We're going to be here every day doing what we can do and providing support to our survivors and getting prosecutions. Thank you so much.
Would you take a picture with us?
Absolutely, we're hoping we can get our whole group in here. This
I'll
is,
tell you what, we'll take a picture with you first, and then we'll take a picture with anyone that's here to score. welcome. And now, anyone that's here that's supporting domestic violence came here today? You bet. Come on. You'll have time to level out there.
We have a survivor here as well. Come on up, come on up. We're here for you. That's our littlest survivor.
Look at that hair.
Wait, which are you at?
Beautiful.
You gotta
Got
get
it?
Find
Find a window to get in there.
Well, we lost the bracelet.
Wait a minute. You can't.
You might should drop something.
Grandfather here, you can't.
I'm trying to get much, I know it's asking a
Wait,
lot.
wait.
Well, we can share, we can always share, but I have to try. Okay. And Mike, your head's in the, so sorry. So sorry. All right. Brilliant, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Good to see you.
Feels good to go to our office.
I see you.
And we have one more proclamation. Mac Jones, the president of Millicron, is here with us, and Kristen Jackson, and
Amy Brevis.
Amy.
I'm just here to take pictures.
As everybody knows, in Clermont County, economic development is near and dear to everyone. Gainful employment seems to help all the problems that plague societies. And I think we all understand that when people are gainfully employed and they're able to support their families and they're able to afford them those opportunities, a lot of things that are dealt with as far as societal problems just go away, over time. So we're really proud to issue this proclamation for National Manufacturing Day, October the 4th, 2019. Whereas Manufacturing Day was developed to improve public perception of manufacturing and affords manufacturers the opportunity to inspire the next generation of students, teachers, parents, job seekers, and the community by showcasing modern manufacturing technology. And whereas manufacturing is a critical component of Clermont County, the state of Ohio, and the nation's economies. And whereas more than 700,000 people are employed in the manufacturing industry, and with technology advances in manufacturing, career options are now available more than ever before. Whereas modern advanced manufacturing relies on clean, well-lit, and climate-controlled environments, it provides competitive benefits to every employee and thereby makes manufacturing a worthwhile career choice for all residents. Whereas Clermont County, Ohio supports and joins in this national effort to help America's manufacturers do what they do best, grow their business, create jobs, and ensure that our communities remain as vibrant and competitive tomorrow as they are today. Now therefore let it be proclaimed that we, the Clermont County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 4th, 2019 as National Manufacturing Day. And it's signed by David L. Painter, President, Edwin H. Humphrey, Vice President, and Claire Corcoran, member of the Clermont County Board of Commissioners. On behalf of the Clermont County Board of Commissioners, I'd like to present you this proclamation, and thanks for your manufacturing contribution here in Clermont County and many years that Millicron has been here. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. You bet.
I'll say a couple words.
Absolutely.
So, Millicron's honored to be here today. We trace our roots to Clermont County, and thanks to the commissioners for inviting us today. So, we're committed to manufacturing. We've been committed to manufacturing, and we will do so into the future. So, thank you, and we look forward to the future.
And if you would, for us the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Three times, everybody. 3 times.
Thanks for coming. Thank you. You bet. Thanks, sir. You bet.
Thank you.
we would move on down the agenda item to item number D, public participation. Is there anyone here in the day today who would like to participate, who's a member of the public? If so, please raise your hand and be called on by the president, and we would give you time to participate. We welcome your comments and your ability to participate in the meeting day. Anyone from the public who would like to participate? Seeing none, I'll close public participation, and we'll move to item E, the consent agenda. Board, you have had the consent agenda in draft form as early as this past Friday, and you've had ample opportunity to review the items that are on that, and you have the ability to identify items that you'd like to discuss or further remove from this consent agenda. Are there any items that you need removed from the consent agenda for further conversation or clarification? Hearing none, I will request a motion to approve the consent agenda as prepared.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and received a second. Roll call, Judy?
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. We'll move on to item F. The non-consent agenda starts on page 3. 5 is a recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt Resolution 153-19, resolving to approve payment in vendors in the total amount of $2,070,661.93, as set forth in the BCC approval invoice reports for checks dated October 2nd, 2019, BCC directed prepaid invoice report, and procurement card transaction report presented by the county auditor on 9/30/2019, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for the same pursuant to Section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and received a second. Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. Item number 6. Morning, Lyle.
Good morning. I'm Lyle Bloom, Director with the Water Resource Department, and item 6 is a recommendation to accept the following grants of water easements with rights of reentry for repair and replacement. We granted and conveyed to Clermont County for utility purposes of constructing, operating, maintaining, repairing, replacing, removing, or reinstalling water utility lines, pumping equipment, and all incidental fixtures required for the transportation of water in, on, under, and across the properties of the grantors. And this is relative to the Glendale and Glen Willow water main replacement project located in Union Township, and to authorize the execution of the plats of easements as designated, and further to authorize the county auditor to remit payment to the grantors in the amounts as outlined below and as indicated on the settlement sheets, which are attached as compensation for the permanent easement and right-of-way granted, and payment in the amount of $720 payable to Jeannie Zermely, the county treasurer, for the recording fees. There's a list of 9 grantors and 9 associated easements for this project. There's a total of 35 required. So with these 9, we'll have acquired 14 of the 35 required.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 6 and the explanation provided by Mr. Bloom. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second? It's been
Yes.
moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lyle. Item number 7. Hi, Sherry.
Good morning. Sherry Smart, Community and Economic Development. I have a recommendation of Andy Kuka, Director, Department of Community and Economic Development, with the concurrence of Suki Sheets, Assistant County Administrator, to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of the County Commissioners, to execute the grant agreement by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, located in Columbus, Ohio, including all understandings and assurances relative thereto for the provision of funding for grant number B19UC390010, relative to the fiscal year 2019 U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Community Development Block Grant Program for Clermont County in the amount of $975,508 for the grant period beginning 7/1/2019 through 9/1/2026, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein, and in concert with the application for federal assistance ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on July 31st, 2019. The list of projects are listed in the motion. And this is just basically stating that HUD has received our annual action plan, accepted it as submitted, and now they're giving us the funding agreement for the projects.
Board, you've heard the reading and explanation of item number 7. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Paynter.
Yes. Thank you, Sherry. Item number 8.
Good morning.
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 You might notice it's a little bit warm today, not outside, but also in here. The cooling tower went down out back at about 11:30 last night. It's partially on now. We have the spray pumps running. We've identified and ordered after Suki got me some money. A large priced motor from A1 Electric down in Park Hills. It's on its way back now, so I apologize. We'll keep you comfortable, but not cool. Okay?
Got it.
All right, agenda item number 8 is a recommendation for myself, Wade Grabowski, Clermont County Facilities Management Department, with a concurrence of Mr. Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to approve the request to advertise for bids for the Clermont County Sheriff's Office roofing repairs project pursuant to the specifications therefore, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation commencing on Thursday, 10/10/2019, scheduling a non-mandatory pre-bid conference at 9 a.m. local time on Tuesday, 10/15/2019, at the Clermont County Sheriff's Office located at 4470 State Route 222 in Batavia, with bids to be received until 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, 10/24/2019, in the office of the Board of County Commissioners, where they will be publicly opened and read aloud shortly thereafter. This notice will, of course, also be posted on the Clermont County's website.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 8. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Paynter.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Wade. Item number 9.
Item number 9 is you had it as a disposition, is actually a proposal to accept, or a motion to accept proposals, as soon as I find the right one here. This is our lockbox project that we went out for bid on because U.S. Bank, our current lockbox provider, is going out of the lockbox business on December 31st. So item number 9 is a recommendation with the concurrence of Jeannie Zermely, who also utilizes the lockbox for tax bills, to accept the proposal for lockbox processing services by financial institutions. This will be for tax bills and utility bills. It was submitted by PNC Bank on June 6, 2019, and we will need the authorization of authorizing David L. Paynter or any other commissioner to execute multiple agreements that are necessary in order to start this service, as well as set up accounts at PNC Bank to hold our monies. So we've got a Treasury Management Services authorization and agreement, a Treasury Management Services pricing amendment, a master resolution and authorization for depository accounts, and a for depository accounts and Treasury Management Services. All of these, like I said, relate to the establishment of the accounts for the Treasurer and Water Resources. This agreement is effective upon the execution, and it will stay in effect until either party terminates the agreement or any particular service at any time, not less than 30 calendar days prior to written notice. This is in concert with the PNC terms and conditions of their business master management business Treasury Management Services comprehensive agreement, with all the fees for the services as stated in Exhibit A of the aforementioned Treasury Management Services pricing amendment. This was actually sent out for proposal in accordance with, in compliance with Section 307.862, 321.03, and 321.611 of the Ohio Revised Code, and it will be contingent upon purchase orders. We will not be utilizing the service for the treasurer until the end of the year, and the Water Resources will transition as soon as the lockbox is ready to accept those payments, and we'll start moving them from U.S. Bank over to PNC.
Just a note on the quote, I just wanted to make sure that was right. The sections that were referenced there The one section, is it 323.611 or?
Oh, did I say 321 again? Yeah, 323, yes.
323, okay.
There's,
So that-
there are sections of code that require us to utilize financial institutions to do lockbox
I just
services.
wanted to make sure that reference was correct, that was all. And Board, you've heard the reading of item number 9. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and it's received a second. Further conversation or discussion? Just to discuss that for a minute, Suki, for those who are watching today, could you just explain what a lockbox service is and what
Sure.
they do?
When you get your tax bills or your utility bills, you will see a P.O. box on the remittance stub. The P.O. box is actually a lock box. Right now, it is with U.S. Bank here in Cincinnati. They all get mailed to U.S. Bank, and they process them and send us daily transaction files of the payments that are being received so that we can post them in our systems. What'll happen with PNC Bank is that lockbox address will change, so the stubs will be modified to get it to the right lockbox. We will actually have to use a lockbox in Cleveland. There's no more Cincinnati lockbox services provided. So short of us taking those payments in and processing them manually, which would be time and equipment intensive, we're utilizing the service.
Okay, all right. Any further conversation, discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 10.
Good morning, Mary Raines from LNB. Item 10 is a request to increase the annual appropriation for the County General Fund for the Sheriff's Administration in the amount of $1,095.72 and other expenses for some donations that they received, and also for the coroner's regular salaries in the amount of $5,083.55 for some comp time payout, and then to authorize the auditor to post it on the ledger.
Board, you've heard the explanation of item number 10 as read. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Thank you, Mary.
That concludes our regular agenda. And item G, do we have any additions to that agenda?
Yes, sir, we do. We
Okay.
have two additions for the board to consider. First is an agreement with Pictometry International Corporation for the acquisition of, licensed oblique and orthogonal imagery. Say it again, Chris?
Say it
Orthogonal. You know, it's all in the accent. Imagery and electronic field study software relative to the triennial update and the sexennial reappraisal. And we have a second one that will be the Board of County Commissioners resolution declaring additional or final personal property is no longer needed for public use.
Okay. Board, you've heard the addition of the two add-ons. Do I have a motion for approval to add them to the agenda?
Make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes, two items have been successfully added to the agenda. Chris, I'll call on you first for the pictometry. Thank you.
I'm Chris Melman, I'm Deputy Auditor with the Clermont County Auditor's Office. The motion we have before you is a recommendation of Linda L. Fraley, Clermont County Auditor, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute an agreement by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Pictometry International Corporation for the acquisition of licensed oblique and orthogonal. I told you, now I got it. Orthogonal imagery and electronic field study software relative to the triennial and sexennial reappraisal of real estate for taxation purposes. Total cost of $817,468.70, effective for the period of October the 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2023. Pursuant to the terms and conditions set forth therein and in compliance with Section 30786B2 of the Ohio Revised Code, which supersedes the agreement with Pictometry International Corporation, theretofore ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on August the 8th, 2018, and in and as it relates thereto. So what we have today is we came to you back in 2018, and we have a current contract that's in place. And what we're doing is we're getting a better product now that we're able to utilize. Before the contract we had before we were doing a 3-inch and 9-inch with the obliques and orthogonal. Now it's going down to 0.75 inches and 1 inch. So we're getting a clearer picture. So, when I try to explain it to people, and it goes almost to the point where you can see cracks in the pavement. So you can really get a better picture of roof conditions, the conditions on the sides of the house, and those kinds of things that we're utilizing then in our desktop studies related to reappraisal. So today, we appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this as an add-on so that we can then, they'll get us scheduled and they will actually fly in November, so that we'll have it available to us in late January or February, so that we can then finish our last piece of what we need to do then for the reappraisal, the 2020 reappraisal, for the lien date of, and we've been working on that for the last few years. So now this gives us our chance at the last snapshot to say, okay, everything we've done, everything stayed the same. It's our last last chance to take a look at it. In doing so, we're getting a better imagery, and we're actually saving about $30,000 in the process. So it's a win-win.
Board, you've heard the reading of the item that Chris just went over. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion?
Just a question, the $817,000, is that for 1 year or for the full term?
That's going to be for 3 annual flights.
Okay.
Yep, 3 annual flights.
And Chris, the only question I was going to have on that is we had the previous contract. What's the difference between the previous contract and this 817? Is this
The previous contract was for 2 flights.
okay?
And this is going to be then for 3 flights, plus the better imagery that we're going to get out of it.
Okay. And for helping the auditor's office, this better imagery gives you the ability to assess and evaluate this property more correctly and put a better appraisal in place?
Correct. What it'll do is it'll help us so we can have a better view from the desktop, where right now we can get a pretty good view, but if there's something that's doesn't look right, or maybe we can't, because if we try to go down too far into the image, it pixelates, so you can't really see it. It gets blurry. Well, with this, it won't do that. So if the roof condition is such that we don't really know, that may be a condition that needs to be reviewed, and we can't see it from the image, we're going to send somebody out to the field. So now we won't need to do that. Hopefully, and we'll be able to say, oh, we've got good field condition, or the condition of the roof is such that we wouldn't need to do that.
Okay. And then for the advantage of the people at home that might go onto the auditor's website, they're also going to be able to see those pictures?
Yes, it will be available on our website.
Okay.
Correct.
And Judy, do you know what the original contract was for?
Less than 600,000.
$599,000 for those 2 flights.
Yep.
Okay.
So this is a substitute for that?
Supersedes it.
Supersedes it. Yes.
Supersedes it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any further conversation? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then the next item.
The second add-on is a recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners resolve to declare a revised listing of certain personal property and vehicles acquired for use of county offices and departments of Clermont County is no longer needed for public use, obsolete or unfit, and for the use for which it was acquired, to sell the aforestated property at public auction this Saturday, October 5th at 10 a.m. in the municipal court parking lot to the highest bidder. This is pursuant to Section 30712A1 of the revised code. So when we first did this, in order to get the auctioneer contract going and establish the dates and put the notice in, I said we would be back with the final listing. We have the final listing of the Board of County Commissioner titled properties. There will be Park District properties. They declare their own surplus. They're not titled to the county, to the commissioners. So the list has been revised. There's been a vehicle added and a couple vehicles removed, and then we actually detailed the many miscellaneous auto parts that are no longer of use to the county because they're for vehicles that we no longer have. So those are going to go out in 10 different skids. So we separated all those out.
Okay. Board, you've heard the reading of the add-on. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Suki, does that conclude the add-ons that we have for today?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll move on to item number J, requesting an executive session pursuant to section 121.22, G2, and G3 of the Ohio Revised Code to first, consider the purchase of property for public purposes, the sale of property at competitive bidding, or the sale of other disposition of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use property in accordance with section 505.10 of the Ohio Revised Code. And second, to confer with the prosecuting attorney regarding pending or imminent litigation respectively. Do I have a motion to go into
That
executive
is
session?
item H. You mentioned J, I think, or at least my ears heard J, so it's H.
Yeah,
Anyway,
item
I'll
H.
make that motion.
Item H.
I'll
Okay.
second the motion.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Judy?
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. We will move to executive session. We will return and we will conduct further business. Thank you. We have returned from executive session. No decisions were made, and we will move on with the rest of our agenda. Seeker, are there any other items or additions to the agenda?
No other additions.
Okay. I'll move to item I, county staff and elected official discussion. Anyone representing our county staff or elected officials here today that'd like to speak to the board? Seeing none, I will move on to item J, board member comments. Board members, is there any comments
The only,
today?
the only comment I'd like to make on top of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, starting October the 1st, running to the 31st of this month, is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it's a chance to raise awareness, not only internationally, but especially in our county, of finding an early prevention and also, hopefully, a cure for breast cancer. Spread the word about the importance of mammograms and encourage our communities and organizations to get involved. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
I also have something.
Sure.
Went to United Way kickoff
Yes.
Monday, and I'd like to see that the Board of County Commissioners at least make it available to our staff to do payroll deductions for, so if we just sent a note, I'm not trying to lean on any staff member to make a decision. I'm just trying to make it available. I would like to make it available to them to be able to make that decision and have the form in front of them should they choose to do that. The other one was handle with care was discussed there, which is a concept that asks the police officer to send an email to the school to tell them that the child was involved in a situation, whatever situation that is. They don't say what the situation was. They in the training of the school staff ask them not to ask. Simply be aware that this child has been involved in an adverse situation and handle with care. And I think that was just talked about as one of the things that's coming forward. I think that it would behoove our behavioral health group to jump on that. That seems like a good addition to the CIT training that they're currently doing with the officers of Clermont County. And so those are two things that came out of Monday's meeting for me.
Commissioner Humphrey, would you be amenable to a letter prepared by the administrator to the Board of Health from the Board of Commissioners that would identify handle with care as a process that we would like them to
Consider.
consider?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mental health.
Mm-hmm. We can do that. Be great.
So that'd be the Mental Health and Recovery Board?
Mm-hmm. I think we can do that. And then one other comment I'd like to make. We got an opportunity yesterday to go over to Mount Carmel, Ohio, right on Icolts Road, and see a brand new facility, a brand new Boys and Girls Club that's going to be opened here in Clermont County in Union Township fantastic facility. It's called the Weiler Boys and Girls Club. And I think one of the things that maybe goes unnoticed sometimes and we don't make people aware, you know, the donations of the Weiler Auto Group on behalf of the Boys and Girls Club there is outstanding, and really made them capable of being able to buy that facility, and then be able to restore the facility and upgrade it so that it can be used. And also, while we were there, AT&T gave a $12,000 check to the Boys and Girls Club at that new location. So I'd just like to thank AT&T and also thank Jeff Weiler, David Weiler, and obviously Jeff Weiler and the Jeff Weiler Auto Group for providing that kind of a donation and making their making Clermont County a better place to raise children and have a place like the Boys and Girls Club for them to come in after school and not only study, but to learn about how they can contribute to Clermont County and give back. So I think that's a great thing.
I'm sure there were other contributors too. We just don't have the specific names. We want to thank all of them that contributed to Boys and Girls Club because we think I think it's an outstanding organization and is positioned properly to get our kids, give them a step up.
And all those not only that have contributed, but all those who will continue to contribute to that facility. So fantastic. Anything else, Board?
I also want to note, to remind everyone that next week's regular session on Wednesday is moved to Tuesday due to a conflict. So Tuesday at 10 will be our next regular session.
The next regular session will be Tuesday, October the 8th at 10 a.m., which for those that are planning on being here, that throws it out of kilter a little bit. Anything else? Well, if there's nothing else, thank you for being with us. Thanks to all those who participated in this morning's meeting, and we will see you Tuesday, October the 8th at 10 a.m. Thanks for watching. And we got so carried away with member comments that we didn't adjourn the meeting. So I would ask for a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and received a second. Roll call, Judy?
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Then thanks for watching.